Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got our daily NBA predictions for Saturday, January 25th, as we have got 14 games in the National Basketball Association today. Every team in the NBA is playing today except for the two teams playing tomorrow on Sunday, and that will be the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Portland Trail Blazers. We will talk about their game tomorrow, and I'm going to give you guys a PowerPoint presentation tomorrow as well as why Shai Gilgeous-Alexander deserves to win the Most Valuable Player award, because we only have one game tomorrow, so I'm going to do a PowerPoint tomorrow after we predict OKC and Portland, just because what else are we going to do? So we'll get to that tomorrow, but we've got all other 28 teams except for Oklahoma City and Portland playing today. We start in France, obviously, with the Pacers and the Spurs. We've got big games today between the Rockets and the Cavaliers. Cleveland coming off their loss last night in Philadelphia, and obviously the game of the day in San Francisco, California. LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers take on the Golden State Warriors. The Lakers looking to continue their run. They've been really good recently, and we're going to see if they can continue it here tonight. But folks, before we get into the predictions, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. Again, we're doing this every single day through the NBA playoffs, and also we have our daily college basketball best bets here on the channel. Earlier today, actually an hour ago, we posted our 10 best college basketball best bets for today. We do 10 best bets on the weekends or on Saturdays as long as we get 100 likes on Friday. We did that yesterday, so we're gonna have 10 best bets out for you today, or we already have it out today. On the channel. Make sure to check that video out if you have not yet. Also, make sure to go check out our NFL predictions with the conference championship games, obviously with the NFL, NFC championship game, Commanders, Eagles, AFC championship game, Bills, and Chiefs. That link is in the description down below, along with this link as well for the Professional Fighters League. You got Paul Hughes taking on Usman Nurmagomedov in Dubai this week. It is Dagestan versus Ireland for the Bellator Lightweight Championship. That prediction video, again, is in the description down below. That card is on, like, right now, so it's in the description if you want to watch it. Okay, we've got a lot of NBA today. We're going to start off here. The first of our 14 games, we start in Paris, France, with the Indiana Pacers taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Okay, we fell into the trap last time. All right, Spurs aren't going to lose in Paris. Well, I'll be damned if Indiana loses twice in a row to the San Antonio Spurs. Maybe I'm not following the script, all right? I saw you guys comment that a couple days ago. Maybe I'm not. But I don't think the Pacers lose back-to-back to the Spurs, right? I think. Now, Wembanyama's great. I'm not going to deny the greatness of Victor Wembanyama. The man is an elite basketball player in this league, and there's no doubting that. But I don't think he's going to be able to carry the Spurs team to back-to-back victories. I don't think so. Indiana's too good for that. Again, that was the Pacers' second loss all year long so far in 2025, the other one being to the Cleveland Cavaliers last week. But other than that, Indiana's been great. Again, it was just a bad game, and they couldn't get a stop to save their lives. I mean, hell, San Antonio drops 140 in Paris for that first game, and Indiana just didn't keep up with their scoring. I think they'll be okay in this one. Indiana's still currently the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference, 24-20 as a whole this season. For San Antonio, they're a team that's right now in 11th, actually 12th. No, yeah, 12th in the Western Conference with a 20-22 record. Again, getting one off the Pacers, sure. Are they going to get two? I just don't think so. Miles Turner played a horrible game in the first one against San Antonio. He was non-existent in most of that basketball game, especially in the first half. And Miles Turner just, it's like he wasn't even on the court. I think Indiana's going to be okay in the second half of this back-to-back or two-game stretch. Obviously, they took a day off in between. I'm going to take Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton, again, is continuing to perform. Is it going to be enough for an all-star bid this year? Probably not, but Tyrese, again, has been a lot better, averaging, again, 18 and 9. He's one of the top assist getters in all of the league behind, I can only think, Trae Young and Nikola Jokic. I think the only guys that Tyrese is behind, maybe LeBron James, so I think Tyrese averages more than LeBron. So I believe Tyrese is third in the entire NBA in assists. I mean, he's still, again, he's a playmaker for this team. The offense still runs through Tyrese, and I think the Pacers do get this one done. They are still favorites in this one, which does surprise me considering the way the last game went. Indiana -2.5, -130 on the money line. I am going to take it. Don't feel as confident as I did the first time around, obviously, but I do think Indiana's still the better basketball team. We're going to take the Pacers to go against the script. Wemby in Paris. I'm going to take the Indiana Pacers to go into France and win the second here against the San Antonio Spurs. Let's move on now back to the United States, and we go to the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. I mean, the NBA is on wire to wire today on Saturday. I mean, again, you start with Indiana and San Antonio on ESPN at 9 o'clock. Then you get Denver and Minnesota at 12 on ABC. Then Boston and Dallas at 2:30 on ABC. Then Warriors-Lakers at 5:30 on ABC. And then the nightcap, not on national television, but you do have the Bucks going over to the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, obviously, to take on the Los Angeles Clippers. But we've got 13 more games, 12 more games until we get to that game. We've got the Denver Nuggets taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I like Denver here. I get it. Games in Minnesota. I do just like the Nuggets in the spot. Denver's been really good this year. When I mean this year, I'm talking 2025. They've been excellent. They've lost, 3 games in 2025. San Antonio, Boston, and Houston, and all of those surprisingly have been in Denver. They've not lost on the road yet in 2025, given they haven't played that many road games, but this team's on a 4-game winning streak after losing that game to Houston, beating Miami in Florida, beating Orlando in Florida, beating Philadelphia, and then beating Sacramento. And again, just Jokic, the stats this guy puts up: 20-14-10, 27-13-10, 35-22-17. Again, we saw the full court shot he hit yesterday 2 days ago against the Sacramento Kings. It's ridiculous what this guy does. Now, is he the most valuable player? No. That is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But still, Jokic is an absolute monster. Again, the stat line he's putting up this season, he's averaging 30, 13.5, and 10. He is averaging a triple-double right now. And it only helps when these other supporting pieces start playing even better for Denver. We're talking Jamal Murray. We're talking Russell Westbrook. We're talking Michael Porter Jr. I mean, these guys, Christian Brown, all these guys, again, as they continue. Julian Strawther's been great off the bench this season as well. I mean, as the supporting cast for Denver only continues to improve, they're all that much more dangerous. Minnesota's been kind of struggling. I mean, they're 23-21. They've lost 2 out their last 3 going into this game. Back-to-back losses against Cleveland and then in Memphis against the Grizzlies, coming off that win on the road in Dallas, who just, I guess, has the Thunder's number at this point, which is just, it's odd. It just is. But, I mean, good for Dallas, I guess. But, Minnesota goes to Dallas, Texas, and beats them. I just think it's going to be a real tough out for Minnesota to beat this Nuggets team, especially the way the Nuggets have been playing, guys. Again, this is an elite team in the NBA. I'm very concerned about this team potentially running into my favorite team, the Los Angeles Lakers, in the first round of the playoffs. Again, I don't want to see Denver in the playoffs. I mean, I think the only other team I'd rather not see over Denver is the OKC Thunder still, just because I think that team's going to be incredibly tough to beat in a 7-game series. But other than OKC, the one team I don't want to see in the playoffs if I'm the Lakers is Denver. Honest to God, I like the Lakers' chances against everybody else in the top 12 right now, except for those 2 squads. But of course, the way it is right now, Denver's 4, Los Angeles is 5. Hey, I wouldn't mind if the Grizzlies slide to 4, even though, the Grizzlies are tough, but much rather play Memphis in the postseason again rather than Denver. That's all I'm saying. I'm just hoping the Lakers are on separate sides of the bracket and the Nuggets and the Thunder are on the same side of the bracket, so the Lakers they gotta play 1. Just gotta beat 1 in the Western Conference Finals, right? Don't gotta go through 2 of them. That's all I'm saying. I get it. Houston's not bad, Memphis isn't bad, but no, the elite teams in the West, guys, you might laugh, but the elite teams are OKC, Denver, and Los Angeles. Lakers. Potentially Minnesota, if they can get it together, Dallas, if they can get it together, but really, the 3 top teams in the West, I feel like at least threatening to win in the postseason are OKC, Denver, Los Angeles. 4 would be Houston to me. That's just kind of how I see it right now. Again, things can change. But in this game, I like Denver to go to Minnesota and win. They're just the better team right now, and Jokic is just that good. So give me Denver to go to Minnesota and win this game. Next up, we move to this game here in Dallas between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Boston had a rough trip in Los Angeles, man. Hey, the Lakers stepping up when it matters the most, man. The Lakers, again, they're legit. They're legit this year, right? Boston going to Staples, losing the game by 20 points to the Lakers after that game where they rested Porzingis, Drew Holiday and company, Al Horford at the Intuit Dome against the Los Angeles Clippers because they were preparing them for that game against the Lakers. Well, what happens? You arrest them, they still lose to the Lakers. So LeBron, AD, AR, they're figuring it out this year. The Lakers, man, they're a threat. But Boston's still really good. Obviously, they barely got by in that first game in Los Angeles, obviously, against the Los Angeles Clippers. They're still on this road trip that started with that win in San Francisco against the Warriors. This is the end of the road trip as they return home on Monday to take on a very tough Houston Rockets team. Dallas is weird. They just are. Dallas can't beat anybody other than OKC. I mean, the last time they beat a team not named the Thunder, who are the best team in the NBA, was January 9th. it's just odd. Dallas has their number. They had their number obviously last year in the postseason, and they have their number still. It's weird. That's a one team. Again, if you're OKC, no matter who's playing, hell, Luka didn't even play the 2 times that Dallas beat OKC. I get it, Shea didn't play one of those games, but still, we had Spencer Dinwiddie drop 28 points for Dallas in their victory on Thursday. That's the one team the Thunder don't want to see in the postseason. Hell, they got eliminated by the Mavericks last season. The Mavericks seem to have their numbers so far this year. I know OKC beat them in December, but I think Dallas is 2-1 on the year, right? No, they're 3-1. They went to OKC early in the year and beat them too, with PJ Washington dropping 27 and 17. I mean, I don't get it. But Dallas is playing a team not named the OKC Thunder tonight. They're playing, again, the Celtics. It's a finals rematch. Obviously, no Luka Doncic. I get it. The Celtics have been on the road for a while, but Boston is the better basketball team. There's a reason they are 7.5-point favorites on the road here, and I'd expect them to cover that fairly easily. I'm taking Boston here on the road in Dallas to cover the 7.5 points and win the game outright as well. They had a bad game last night or 2 nights ago in Los Angeles against the Lakers. They should bounce back, and they should beat the Dallas Mavericks. We're taking Boston on the road here in Dallas with this NBA Finals rematch. Let's move on to our next one as we go to Brooklyn, New York. We had some big-time games to start, and now we've got, just the filler games, but trust me, it's going to close tonight pretty good. We've got some good games down the stretch. Miami and Brooklyn. Now, I saw, and we talked about him the other day, and for good reason, Khalil Ware now is the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, which is a little surprising considering, again, I watched every game Khalil Ware played last year in Bloomington, and he wasn't all that impressive. I thought the Hoosiers lost some of their games because of the effort and because of just the all-around play of Khalil Ware, but he has translated fairly well to the NBA, and I respect that. Khalil Ware, again, has looked really good, and he's going to continue to step up for this team, starting at the 5, now at Jimmy Butler out. Obviously, again, things just get bumped because Bam Adebayo is playing the 4. Khalil Ware's good. He is now the odds-on favorite to win the Rookie of the Year, and I understand it. Now, again, Miami, this is why I'm still taking the Heat to beat the Nets, but I think this is going to be a very competitive basketball game. And our reasoning, again, with the Heat for a while, and it remained true in their last game when they lost in Milwaukee against the Bucks, was the focus is not the Miami Heat's basketball games right now. It's Jimmy Butler. Hell, Jimmy Butler just got suspended again for this 2-game road trip because he missed the flight to Milwaukee and to Brooklyn. Now, is Jimmy coming back on Monday when they're playing the Magic, or is Riley just going to say, all right, you know what, we're done with you, don't play, we'll eventually trade you? I don't know. Or is Jimmy just going to get inserted right back into the starting lineup on Monday like nothing ever happened? I genuinely don't know what's going to happen. That'll be something. But, of course, Miami's still without Jimmy Butler, and I get it. Again, Jimmy Butler wasn't the biggest factor for this team this season, but obviously, against just the presence of Jimmy Butler makes them better, I think. But with all this circulating around the Miami Heat, I think, again, the Heat are only going to improve once Jimmy Butler's out the organization. So then this headache of Jimmy Butler, again, he's done great things for the franchise, don't get me wrong, but this headache of Jimmy Butler is just out of there. They don't got to worry about this Jimmy nonsense anymore. I think the Nets keep this game close. We saw the Nets a couple nights ago stay very competitive against the New York Knicks. They weren't competitive against the Suns, but that was the second half of a back-to-back. Brooklyn's always dealing with injuries, and there are more tonight. We can read the entire injury report. Bojan Bogdanovic is doing on-court work for the first time this year. He's not back yet, though. Trent Watford is ruled out. Cameron Johnson's not playing. D'Angelo Russell's questionable. Ben Simmons is questionable. Zaire Williams is probable, and Cam Thomas is still out. But still, I think Cameron Johnson should play. He's a big-time factor for this team. D'Angelo Russell and Ben Simmons, I think one of those two guys will give it a go. And I think Brooklyn's able to keep this game competitive. The game's at Barclays Center. It's in New York. And again, basketball is not the main, it's not the main objective right now for the Miami Heat. It's just not. So I think Miami wins with Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Khalil Ware, but I don't think they cover 9.5. I think Brooklyn finds a way to keep this game close, but ultimately, yes, we're going to take the Miami Heat to win. But I like Brooklyn to cover at home, just with everything surrounding the Heat right now. I wouldn't rely on that team at all. Next up, we go to this. The Hornets versus the Hornets. Oh, wait, the Pelicans are the Hornets. The Hornets, the New Orleans Hornets are the Pelicans. Now, just very quick side note. I always preferred, personally, New Orleans Hornets and Charlotte Bobcats. I know that's a very, 2000s thing because I didn't grow up in the 90s when Larry Johnson and company were playing in Charlotte for the Charlotte Hornets, but I always liked it better when the New Orleans Pelicans were the Hornets and the Charlotte Hornets were the Bobcats. Hot take, I really liked the end of the Bobcats era. I loved their jerseys. I just did. Like that year when there was a year when it was 2012 or 2013 where Kemba Walker and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, they got the 7 seed, I think it was 7 because the Bulls were 1 that year, I think. Anyways, it was Bobcats Heat in the first round. I just remember those Bobcats unis. I loved the Bobcats uniforms. I know, again, the Bobcats were the Bobcats, but personally, I rather there be the Bobcats in Charlotte and the Hornets in New Orleans, but regardless, that has nothing to do with this game. We've got the Charlotte Hornets taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. I'll take New Orleans. This line I think has moved since I made the graphic, a couple in an hour. So I'm recording this video at about 10 on Friday night. So the odds might shift a little bit. When I made the graphic, at 9, New Orleans was 1.5 point favorites. I'm seeing on ESPN now they are now 3.5 point favorites. So it is what it is. It doesn't change the pick. I'm still going with New Orleans. I don't know if LaMelo Ball is playing or not. LaMelo did not play last night for Charlotte in their game where they lost. They lost at home to the Portland Trailblazers, disappointing outcome for them. A Charlotte team that was looking much better, obviously, but with no LaMelo and obviously with Brandon Miller still out for the rest of the year now, I mean, it's just going to be tough for Charlotte to win games when LaMelo's not on the court, obviously, with Miller being done for the year. New Orleans right now is playing with the better team. They just are. They're 12-33, yes. But it looks like I think Zion's going to play this game. I mean, hell, if Zion didn't play Friday against the Grizz, or yesterday against the Grizz, I mean, why wouldn't he play today? He didn't play yesterday because of rest or because of conditioning purposes. So I'd only assume he's going to play tonight. Brandon Ingram, I think, still a couple games away. But if Zion's playing, CJ McCollum, DeJounte Murray, I think the Pelicans are going to be good enough to beat this Hornets team without Brandon Miller, obviously. And we'll see if LaMelo plays or not. But I do think all around right now, yeah, the Pelicans are the better team out of them in Charlotte. I mean, prior to the Grizzlies loss, New Orleans was on a 4-game winning streak. They had won 5 of 6, with the only loss being Boston. And now, of course, you add in that Memphis game. But still, again, New Orleans has won 5 of 7 going into this game in Charlotte. I think the Pelicans, even though they're on the road, I think they go in here and win this game. They are just playing better right now than the Hornets, I think, especially, again, with question marks around if LaMelo Ball's playing or not. I expect Zion to play. We'll see if Ball plays. Give me New Orleans here on the road. Again, we have -1.5. I think the line has since shifted to 3.5, but it is what it is. I still like the Pels in the spot to go to Charlotte and beat the New Orleans Hornets, the Charlotte Hornets. My goodness. Anyways, let's go on to Orlando, Florida for the Orlando Magic and the Detroit Pistons. I'm very confused why the Magic are favorites in this game. I get it, Franz Wagner's back. But guys, Orlando's been so bad recently. And okay, yeah, Franz is back. That's great. Franz came back a lot quicker from injury than Paolo Banchero did. But they still lost to the Blazers with Franz back in the lineup. It wasn't Franz's fault. He played, limited minutes, only 24 in his return, but scored 20 points in those 24. But it's just all right, yes, as soon as okay, the problem that Orlando had for most of the year was, all right, Banchero's out, Franz is out, but at least again, or even when Franz was playing, but it's all right, at least, Banchero's out, Franz out, whatever. At least the rest of the team's still healthy, and they've got an all-around very good supporting cast around their 2 All-Stars. Well, the problem is now everyone else is injured. So Franz and Paolo's back, but obviously Mo Wagner out for the season. Cole Anthony questionable tonight. Goga Batadze's been dealing with that concussion. He's questionable for tonight. Jalen Suggs questionable with the back injury, and Gary Harris has already been ruled out with the hamstring injury. So that's just, it's all adding up for Orlando, and now they're, again, fighting to stay 500. They're 23-23 in this game. They could fall under 500 for the first time in a while, I believe, tonight. Orlando's now the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference, and the Pistons, believe it or not, are actually a higher seed than Orlando right now. Detroit's 23-21. Cade Cunningham and the guys coming into Orlando for this game, and I do like the Pistons in this spot. Guys, Detroit's completely healthy. Obviously, Jaden Ivey's still out with injury, but this is a fairly healthy Detroit Pistons team. It's a Detroit Pistons team that's playing great basketball right now. They're on back-to-back wins over some good teams. They go to Houston and win. They go to Atlanta and win. Who's to say they're not going to go to Orlando and win as well? I mean, this is a tough road trip. Again, already played Houston, already played Atlanta. Now they go to Orlando, to Cleveland, to Indiana. I mean, these are some tough games coming up, but Cade Cunningham's been willing this team, man. Jalen Duren is a very good center. I mean, this is a good Pistons team. It's a Pistons team that is exceeded any expectations anybody has had for them this year, and we're going to keep rolling with it. Give me the Pistons here on the road, plus money dogs. I like it on the road here. I do like Detroit, plus 115, plus 3.5. Guys, the way the Magic have been playing, it's just, it hasn't been great, even with Wagner back, even with Banchero back. Just the rest of the team's so injured. Again, they've lost 5 games in a row. Milwaukee, Boston, Denver, Toronto, Portland. It's not a winning formula right now. Again, this was a Magic team that was at one point in the year, 17-9? Now they're 23-23. It's been bad. It's been really brutal. They've gone 6-14 since that game when they beat Phoenix on December 8th. Yeah, give me Detroit here. I like the Pistons on the road to go into Orlando and win this game. There's just too much uncertainty around the Orlando Magic right now. Next up, we go to Atlanta, as we've got the Atlanta Hawks hosting the Toronto Raptors. Now, we can fairly easily make a prediction in this game, even though I know the Hawks just lost the Raptors, which is ridiculous. It really is. Toronto had won one game in the United States of America prior to beating the Atlanta Hawks. It's just like I come on here every day and I hype up the Atlanta Hawks. I tell you how good this team is, and they are good, man. They're really good. But then they lose. What do they do? They lose to the Raptors. The Pistons, all right, whatever. The Pistons are good. I'm not whatever. But like, this team's lost 3 in a row now. They go to New York, but they were competitive against the Knicks, but ultimately they lost. They lose to Detroit at home. They lose to Toronto at home. It's just, man. You can't lose back-to-back to the Raptors, right? I don't think. Atlanta's only getting 3.5, or only, 3.5 point favorites in this game. I think that's fine. They should cover. Toronto, oddly enough, has won 4 of 5. RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes are playing really good ball. But yeah, oddly enough, they've won 4 of 5 now. Golden State, Boston, lost to Milwaukee, Orlando, Atlanta. I mean, that's a really good stretch. IQ, I think, still out. Yes, Abaji's out and Kelly Olynyk's out. Olynyk, I guess, a trade candidate for a lot of teams needing a big, which is what it is. Give me the Hawks, though. I don't think the Hawks lose back-to-back to Toronto. I mean, the Raps are 12-32. Atlanta is 22-22. Damn, they're 500 again. Hawks are the 8th seed now. Oh, man. They should get back on track again. Trae Young, the most underappreciated superstar in the NBA. I get Jalen Brunson being the All-Star Game starter, but yeah, that should have been LaMelo. But I mean, Trae Young too. Now, Young will be a bench player in the All-Star Game, which is fine. He just deserves to be in the All-Star Game. Give me Atlanta. I don't think they lose back-to-back to Toronto. But yes, I am very disappointed in the Hawks after that last performance. That was abysmal. Trae's questionable. No. Trae questionable, Capella probable, and Jalen Johnson out. Well, Atlanta, find a way to win. That's all I'm gonna say. Just find a damn way to win this basketball game. My goodness. Give me Atlanta at home, -3.5, -165 on the money line. Next up, we go to a pretty big game. It is a big game. The Cleveland Cavaliers at home hosting the Houston Rockets. And yes, believe it or not, we are going with the Houston Rockets on the road to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, which I get it. I have been a crazy Rockets hater for most of the season. Hater no more. Nope. No longer a hater of the Houston Rockets. They beat Cleveland the other night in Houston, and yes, if Darius Garland can make a free throw, then Cleveland likely wins that basketball game. But hear me out, guys. Cleveland's coming off a second half of a back-to-back. They've lost 2 in a row. And yeah, last night they lost to the damn Philadelphia 76ers. I saw 76ers fans mad that, oh damn, we can't even tank right. It's true. I mean, my goodness. The Sixers aren't even making the play-in, and they're finding ways to beat the 36-8 Cleveland Cavaliers. Guys, the Rockets didn't play last night. Cleveland did. There was only 6 teams in the association who played last night, only 5 of which are playing again tonight, but the Cavs are one of them. They're going to be on tired legs. They had to play a tough game last night in Philadelphia. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell, it's a big 3. They ultimately don't win the game at the end, but Cleveland had to play a very rough game last night where their starters had to play big minutes in that one, and they lost. So now you got to turn them around here against the Houston Rockets, a team that is good, a good defensive team, a team that is going to wear you down, a team that's going to put pressure in your face, and a team who, when they are on, they can shoot the hell out the ball and can score so efficiently as well. Jalen Green, Alfred Sengun, Fred VanVleet last 2 nights for the Rockets. VanVleet has led them in scoring with 20 and with 26, and they got a guy who crashes the glass better than most forwards in the entire league. We're talking about Amen Thompson. I like Houston in this one. I know they're on the road, but who played last night? Cleveland. Who played big minutes last night? Cleveland. Who's on the 2-game losing streak? Cleveland. Who lost the first game between the Rockets and the Cavs? Cleveland. Everything to me points to Houston in the spot. I think these odds should be more like even just because the Cavs played last night. +4.5, plus 150. Hell, sign me up for Jalen Green, Alfred Sengun, and the Houston Rockets on the road in Cleveland, Ohio. The Cavaliers still a very good basketball team, but the circumstances surrounding this game makes me really feel good about the Houston Rockets, and that's exactly where we're going. I'm going with the Houston Rockets on the road in Cleveland to take care of business here against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's move on to our next one as we go to the Garden, as we have the New York Knicks taking on the Sacramento Kings. I'm going with the Kings on the road here. I am. This just feels like a Knicks loss. New York's won back-to-back games over the likes of the Brooklyn Nets and the Atlanta Hawks. Good victories, I guess. Barely got by the Nets. We picked the Nets successfully the other day to cover against New York. And now the Sacramento Kings come to town. Sacramento's coming off a loss 2 nights ago against the Denver Nuggets. It is what it is. It's hard to go to elevation and beat that Nuggets team, especially when Jokic is launching full court shots and making them at the end of the third quarter. I get it. The game was basically put away at that point, but still, it's hard to beat that Nuggets team sometimes. Sacramento's still been very good in 2025. They've only lost 2 games all year in Milwaukee and in Denver, and I get it. Going to New York to take on the Knicks is another tough place to play. Simply put, that's what it is. But I don't know, man. I feel like fading the Knicks, I know they've got a good record, but just every spot where you get decent teams as dogs going into the Garden feels like a good spot against the Knicks. It just does. I don't know, man. I'm just waiting, and we're not to the end of the season yet, but I'm just waiting until all these guys just wear the hell down at the end of the year for New York, because Thibodeau plays them crazy minutes every single night. Again, I believe the 4 leading minutes guys in the entire NBA are on New York. Brunson, Cat, Mikal Bridges, and someone else. I don't know who the 4th is. Is it Josh Hart? It might be Josh Hart. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Josh Hart. I think it's Josh Hart. But yeah, it's like all these guys play such big minutes every single night. I'm just waiting for this team to just kind of fall apart. Again, we've got a long way to go. We still have the All-Star break and whatnot, but I think this is a game Sacramento can catch them. Guys, New York, again, is going to have to deal with this high-paced offense of the Sacramento Kings. I get they lose to Denver last night, but this is a Kings team that plays very quick, and they've got it figured out. Again, since Doug Christie's become the head coach of Sacramento, they've been so much better. This team, when it's on, can shoot. Again, they are different than when they play at home at the Golden One Center. Again, this team is just like, there are true home court advantages in the NBA. Playing in Sacramento, California, in the California's capital, obviously, is different. Playing at Golden One, and by the way, the nicest arena I've ever been to. I'm gonna be honest. I love that arena. I like it more than the Chase Center or whatnot. I think the Golden One Center is excellent. But it's hard to go there and play because the crowd's always into it, and the Kings, they feed off of that energy. I still think they can go to New York and win, though. The safer pick is obviously Sacramento plus 7.5. That's either, I see that trending either 7.5 or 6.5 as of the time I'm making this, but I like Sacramento to win the game too, plus 210. I might be a Knicks hater, sure, but not a complete hater. I just think these big minutes are going to hurt them down the stretch. I think it's stupid. And what has Thibodeau ever done? Let's just be honest. What has Thibodeau ever won? I don't know. Give me the Sacramento Kings to go on the road in New York and take care of business here against the New York Knicks. We move on now to Chicago, Illinois, to the United Center for the Chicago Bulls taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. So Philadelphia with the win last night at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers, a great victory. Probably, one of the wins of the year so far for Philly, doing that shorthanded without Joel Embiid, obviously, without a lot of their bench guys, a lot of their veterans. I mean, that was a big victory for the Philadelphia 76ers, and it'd just be so Sixers then to lose their next game to the Bulls. And that's what's going to happen ultimately. Guys, the Sixers, I guess they're still thinking playoffs because they are only 2 games back of the 10 spot in the Eastern Conference, because that's the way the NBA works now. I mean, we get these horrible teams with chances to obviously make the postseason at the end of the year. So I guess if you're Philadelphia, you're still looking to potentially get to Chicago, right? Or catch up to Chicago in the Eastern Conference. And yeah, right. So, I mean, the Bulls are, 2 games ahead of the 76ers right now, which, Philadelphia is still in it. For as horrible as they have been, they are 16-27. They are only 2 games behind the Chicago Bulls. But now this is where the Bulls get them. Philadelphia is not at home, second out of a back-to-back. And who's even playing for Philadelphia? Let's just be honest. Who's playing? Is Lowry going to play? Embiid definitely not playing. Drummond's not playing. Caleb Martin probably not playing. Who is going to play for the Philadelphia 76ers? I don't know. Nobody knows who's going to play for the Philadelphia 76ers. Sure, PG, Maxey, and Tyrese Maxey is doing everything in his power to try to keep the 76ers team afloat. Again, stylistically, though, it's a bad matchup for them against the Chicago Bulls. It's a Bulls team that does play fast. They've got a guy, obviously, and Zach LaVine, who's just been tremendous this season. I would still assume that he is going to get moved eventually, but Zach LaVine's been excellent this year. The Bulls are coming off that loss the other night to the Golden State Warriors, which was very disappointing, like very disappointing. But I think they'll be okay in this spot. They look good in the Clippers game. They should be able to bounce back here in the spot against the Sixers team, which again is injured. They just came off of a game that they went down the stretch with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got to turn around, go on the road to play the Bulls. I do think Chicago gets them here. We're going to take Chicago. I'm not sure if Kobe White's playing ultimately. Like, Kobe White hasn't been that good recently, so who cares? But give me the Chicago Bulls here at home to beat the Philadelphia 76ers and cover the 3.5 points they do have at home as well. So -3.5 for Chicago, and Bulls money line is the play for this one. Let's move on to our next one. We go to Memphis, Tennessee for the Memphis Grizzlies and the Utah Jazz. I get it, Memphis just played last night, but they should still blow Utah out because it's like Utah is coming off a second half of a back-to-back as well because of all their injuries they have. I don't know who the trainer is in Salt Lake City. I don't know who is dealing with injury management here for the Utah Jazz, but whoever it is, my goodness. Let's just listen to all of the injuries the Utah Jazz have right now. And they didn't play last night. Cody Williams is still out. Their last game was the OKC game, right? I could be blanking. Yeah, they haven't played since Wednesday. Listen to these injuries. Cody Williams out still. John Collins out. Bryce Sensabaugh is probably going to play, but Johnny Juzang not playing. Jordan Clarkson's still out. I mean, how is everybody injured? So the Jazz have just been, trying to play with this G League team all year long, and ultimately it's not taking them all that far. And now they got to go into Memphis against a good Grizzlies team, a very high-scoring Grizzlies team that put up 140 on the Pelicans last night. They put up 132 against the Hornets, 140 when they went to San Antonio, and 130 in back-to-back nights. I mean, this is a Grizzlies team that can score, and they can score in bunches, obviously, with all of their threats. Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, Jalen Wells. I mean, this is a good, it's how Zach Edey's doing his thing at center. I mean, this is a very good Memphis Grizzlies basketball team, and it's a team that honestly should get away from Utah. I think so. I get it. Utah actually has been dealing with the injuries all right. I mean, I know they haven't been winning, but only lost by 9 against the Thunder, covered in the Pelicans game prior to that, covered against the Hornets at home on the 15th. I mean, yeah, they are covering games, but eventually it's going to catch up to them. And I get it. Isaiah Collier's been playing well. Keontae Jordan's been playing good basketball. Laurie, when he plays, is good. Walker Kessler is a premier center in the league, not all-star caliber, but a very good defensive center who, please, Lakers, just get Walker Kessler, please. I think the Lakers are the next game. They are. But yeah, I like Memphis to win this game, and I like them to cover the 11.5 points as well. I'd stay away from it. There's, again, 14 games today in the NBA. Everyone's playing but 2. This is one of the games where I wouldn't, eye in on betting just because who knows? Again, Utah is just Utah, and Memphis is coming off the second half of back-to-back. I still expect the Grizzlies to win and cover, but there are much better games you can bet on today. Give me the Memphis Grizzlies, though, to win and to cover that spread against the Utah Jazz at home. Next up, we go to the game of the day. It's the second matchup all year between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Warriors, the first obviously being on Christmas. The Lakers somehow, some way have found themselves to first in the Pacific Division in the NBA. Yes, divisions don't really matter, but that's something the Lakers are in first right now. They're 24-18. They're taking on the Golden State Warriors. I love this spot for the Lakers. Absolutely. I get it. The Warriors will show up to play. They will absolutely show up to play. It's LeBron versus Curry. The Warriors are going to be extra motivated to play this basketball game. I completely understand it. However, the Lakers are the better team right now. They just are. Now, honestly, I'm checking right now. I don't know if Draymond's playing, but I would imagine Draymond's going to randomly come back for this game. No, he's still out. Wow. Wiggins probable. Podziemski's back. Gary Payne's out. Back. Who cares? That's fine. The Warriors are struggling against good teams. I mean, they'll randomly win games, like they randomly went to Minnesota and won. They randomly went to Detroit and won, coming off of that Bulls victory. But when they played two good teams recently, Celtics, Kings, they lost both of those. I think the Lakers win this one. I think they do. LeBron is just, the guy's excellent, man. I mean, you can't replicate what this guy does, especially for this team at the age he is at. He's 40 years old. And he's still an elite player in the NBA. Anthony Davis is great too. But the thing is, again, and what the Lakers front office needs to do, Rob Pelinka, Genie Bus, what are we doing? We need to trade for a center. There's one center on this team. Jackson Hayes doesn't count. There's one center on this team. Move AD to the 4. Let Braun go back to the 3. Send Rui to the bench. Max Christie can still start. That's fine. And get them a center. Walker Kessler is right there. I don't want Kelly Olynyk. I don't want Jonas Valanciunas. Robert Williams, I don't mind, but he's kind of undersized, but whatever. Like, budget Ben Wallace, kind of. That's disrespectful to Ben Wallace. But still, like, get this team as Walker Kessler. I don't care what you have to give up. Give up. What can we give up? Vando. Oh, Vando's back now. Oh, that's something. We'll see how Vando plays. Okay, give up. Oh God, there's not much we can trade. Give up Rui. I like Rui, but you know, if it's to get Walker Kessler, Rui's not starting anyway. LeBron's gonna go back to playing the 3. So give up Hachimura, a first, and give him Jalen Hood-Schifino for Walker Kessler. Done. Get it done. There. Like, Utah's not gonna say no to that. They can, if they want to, they can buy out Hachimura, but they probably won't. Probably keep Hachimura around, I would think. And then boom, there's Jalen Hood-Schifino. It can go to whatever. I don't know. Does that guy play basketball anymore? I don't know. But the Lakers, regardless, no center or not, they'll be fine in this game. Because why? Oh, the Warriors start Trace Jackson-Davis at center. Like, we'll be okay in this one. AD should dominate down low. We saw the Lakers play a very competitive game in San Francisco earlier this year on Christmas. They won that game, though. AR with the game winner, obviously. The Lakers recently, like dating back to that Warriors-Lakers postseason series a couple years ago, have played the Warriors fairly well. And obviously, it's not the same Warriors team as, you know, the championship runs, obviously. But, you know, recently the Lakers have played the Warriors fairly well. And I think they'll do it again tonight. You know, the Warriors just aren't that impressive. They're just not. And I think the Lakers should be able to get this one done. I like Los Angeles a lot in this spot. Even money. This is my favorite pick in the NBA today. Not because it's just my favorite team, but I really feel good about the Lakers going to Golden State and winning. I really do. Give me Los Angeles on the road here. LeBron and AD should be able to get things done. This is a big-time basketball game. You know, we talk about sometimes how regular season NBA basketball doesn't matter. That's fair. This one matters. Nationally televised game. LeBron versus Curry. Lakers Warriors. We don't know how many more of these we're going to get with LeBron versus the Warriors or LeBron versus Curry. Now, make this a lot easier and just send Curry to the Lakers, but it is what it is. This is a big-time basketball game. It's a big-time basketball game that I think the Lakers get. Give me Los Angeles on the money line. Lakers -1.5, whatever you want to take, and just take the money line. Like the Lakers on the road at the Chase Center against the Golden State Warriors. Next up, we go to this abomination. The Phoenix Suns are 14.5-point favorites in Phoenix against the Washington Wizards. Phoenix, sure. Just like, whatever. The Wizards, I feel like the Wizards have been on this road trip forever. Like, this is the trip from hell for the Wizards. But you know what? Every trip is the trip from hell from Washington. For Washington, I think now they do own the worst road record in the NBA because of that win that the Toronto Raptors got in Atlanta. They both had one win. The Wizards now have the worst road record in the NBA. Their only win on the road was, who was it? Of course, it was Atlanta. What, can the Hawks beat these bad teams? My God. Yeah, it was October 28th. Their first road game. The Washington Wizards' first road game. Was their only road win, or is their only road win this year. So if you're counting at home now, the Wizards have lost 19 consecutive road games this year. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. They're not beating the Suns. The Suns, I get it, aren't that great, but they're going to beat the Wizards. 100% they'll beat the Wizards. Beal's probable. He'll give it a go. I guess Nurk is back, but Nurk doesn't play, so whatever. You know who's been really good for Phoenix, though, ever since they got him? Nick Richards. Obviously from Charlotte. Had a really good game against Brooklyn the other night. Against Brooklyn, but that was a very good performance from him. Phoenix is better than Washington. Again, don't bet this game. There's better games to bet on. But, you know, if you want to play Phoenix and Washington, just bet Phoenix in the spread, I guess. I wouldn't do it. There's just better games, and, you know, the Suns can win the game by 14, you still lose. Like, I think it'll be a blowout, but I'd stay away personally. Give me Phoenix to win and cover as well. Going on to our final game of the night, the nightcap in the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, California. Inglewood, California, you got the Milwaukee Bucks going to take on the Clippers. I do like the Bucks here. We're going to get plus money on Milwaukee here, which I'm fine with. The Clippers shooting has been down recently. They haven't been shooting as lights out from beyond the arc as of late. I believe Kawhi's playing. I believe James Harden and Zubac are all playing as well. That's fine. We're getting a fully healthy Bucks team as well. And guys, when the Bucks are playing their best basketball, Giannis, by the way, is probable with a knee injury. Same with Chris Middleton. He's probable with an ankle injury. The only injury that the Bucks have, only guy out tonight for Milwaukee, will be AJ Green with a quad injury. But when Milwaukee's playing their best ball, guys, this is a tough team to stop. Giannis, again, is so hard to guard downhill. And Dame obviously is an excellent shooter from Milwaukee as well. I think the Bucks are really undervalued in this spot here against the Clippers. I get it; they're on the road, they're in Los Angeles, but guys, the Bucks haven't lost a game since January 12th, and that was at New York. Again, when Milwaukee's at their best, they are tough to stop. When Giannis is at his best, when Giannis again is driving and at his best, he is so difficult to stop. Who's going to be guarding him? Kawhi? Well, I mean, sure, Kawhi in his like 8th game back is going to guard Giannis. We'll see. If not, it'll probably be Derek Jones. Actually, probably be Derek Jones. Probably. We'll see. But I just don't think anybody on this Clippers team can stop Giannis. We'll see. I don't know if old Kawhi can do it or injured Kawhi can do it. And I don't know. I mean, it honestly just depends what type of shooting night the Clippers have, and it really comes down to Norman Powell, who's the best player right now on this Clippers team. Yes, Norman Powell's the best guy in Los Angeles right now. So we'll see. But I think the Bucks get it done. I like Giannis a lot in this spot here. It's very rare, honestly, that we get the Bucks at plus money. Just because, again, they're always expected to win games like these, or they're just expected to win a lot because they have Dame and Giannis and because they have figured it out down the stretch of the season. Obviously, earlier in the year, they were really struggling because they got a lack of support around both Giannis and Damian Lillard. But since they've gotten, again, that help, the Bucks has been really good. Obviously, Milwaukee now, 4th in the Eastern Conference, 25-17. That's a team that you don't want to see in the playoffs. Obviously, last year they got kind of screwed over because of the injuries they had when they played the Pacers. Obviously, no Giannis, and it was just brutal. But when Milwaukee's healthy and when Milwaukee's at their best, they're one of the best teams in the NBA. So I think they go to the Intuit Dome. I think they go to Inglewood, and I think they take care of business here against the Los Angeles Clippers, a team that has really struggled to shoot the basketball in their last 5 games. And that's what they are built on, and that's what they are known for, and that's how they win games. So if Milwaukee's able to just have their night, and if the Clippers aren't shooting the ball like they are supposed to, and have it and like they've been in the last 5 games, I think Milwaukee gets this one. So give me the Bucks on the road here in Los Angeles over the Los Angeles Clippers, plus 2.5, plus 110 on the money line as well. So folks, thank y'all for watching our NBA predictions here for all 14 games in the association today for Saturday, January 25th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching. The Mamba forever.